Hi everyone, so let's talk about the interval list intersections. So you're given two lists. One is first list, the other one is second list. And both lists have the starting and ending point. So you want to return an intersection of two close interval. So which mean like if there is an intersection between um, 0, 2 and 1, 5, right? So this is the intersection, so you have to return 1, 2, right? So this is supposed to be easy. So since you are keep track of the two lists and you don't know which one I should move forward, so you need two pointer. One pointer for one pointer for A, the other one for B. And then I need to keep track of the current interval. So if my current interval, the ending time, so sorry, let's just make it more easier to read. So this is the B ending time, right? So B ending time has to be greater than A starting time, right? And then also A ending time has to be greater than B starting time. So there's an interval for sure, right? So again, starting time, let's just make a color more easy to read. So starting time for A, ending time for B, right? Ending time for A, starting time for B. So if this is doable, right, you need to know there's an intersection between these lists, right? So I would say I will have to compare I need to create another interval which is intersection, right? So I would say the minimum for what? Uh, okay, so sorry. So this is maximum. So the starting time for the intersection, right, is maximum for the A0 or B0, right? So you might know, okay, uh, just based on this, the B0 is definitely greater than A0, right? But somehow like the order swap, you have no idea. So this has to be the A0, B0 in this case. So starting time is the maximum. How about the minimum? Sorry, how about ending time? It's gonna be minimum, right? And then this, I mean, you might be already understand what I'm doing. So I will just take the intersection, right? And then after I take the intersection, I need to compare. Is my ending time for A and ending time for B, which one is less than? I need to move the current one. So since the ending time for A is less than B ending time, right? So I will increment my pointer to this one. So I will say, okay, now I need to compare this interval with this interval. So now I know there's an intersection at 5, and then the maximum is going to be what? The maximum for A is 0, and then B is 0, right? So definitely the A0 is uh, greater than B0. So in this case, the ending time, starting time for A, starting time for the intersection is going to be A, so which is 5. How about ending time? Ending time is the minimum between A1 and B1, right? So A1 and B1. So which one is the minimum? Which is this, right? So it's still going to be 5. So I will just what? I will just add the another interval to the answer, and I need to compare which one is the smallest. B is the smallest, so I will move my J from here to here. All right, so we talked a lot. So how do you actually need to store the answer? The answer. I will just create a linked list, and I will store the in array, and I need to code results. And then I need to have a two pointer I and J. That's my representation. And then I will set n equal to first list dot length, and m equal to second list dot length. All right. So while I is less than n and also j is less than m, I will know there is an interval between this, right? So I will say in A, the current interval for first list is I, B is second list at j, right? So I will just take the current interval out of the first list and second list, and then I need to compare. So if my B1, the ending time is greater or equal, be honest, for the A starting time, and also A ending time is greater or equal to what? B starting time. So there's an interval. So I would say, okay, now I need to what? Append. I'll add an interval between, to the result, right? So it's gonna be math.max. The maximum between what? The maximum between A0 and B0, right? If you just notice the what? The math, right? So the maximum between A and B, so it's gonna be B, right? And then the ending time is gonna be minimum, right? So main A1, comma B1. Alright. Now I need to move the pointer. So if the A1 less than B1, right? I'll have to what? I have to move the I pointer. Else I need to move my J pointer. At the end, since you have to return to the array and I'm storing 1D array inside my linked list. So this is become the list of in array, right? So I will convert the linked list, the list into the 1D array, and 1D array inside my 1D array has another 1D array, so it's 2D array, right? So I would say result dot to array new int, and then it has to be what 1D, right? So I would pass in 0 in this case, and I would just say run it, and I submit. And here we go. So let's talk about time and space. For the space, this is a space, this is a space, but this one is constant. And this one is what? The worst case is going to be what? The minimum between n and m, right? Like you need to know the intersection, so it should be like minimum between, right? And then the time is going to be this, so it's still going to be the minimum, the length of the first list and the second list, the minimum between first list and second list. Because if one list is like this, like the first list is like this, and second list is empty, basically you don't need to traverse, right? So it's a minimum, right? So let me just quickly copy my time and space complexity note. So this is the answer. And if there's any solution you can provide, definitely it's pretty good. But for my solution, it's really easy to understand. And just bear with me, like this is pretty hard for me to explain. Like sometimes I would just say A1 compared with B1, but it definitely represents what? A ending time and B ending time. And then A0 represents starting time, B0 represents starting time for B, right? So just making sure you know like the timestamp for each interval. And this is the solution, and I will see you next time. Bye.